Hello, we are nearing the end of our journey and the final step toward our goal of great compassion. We started with the mindfulness and continued with common humanity, gratitude, loving kindness, empathetic concern, and forgiveness. Your seventh step on the path is self compassion. Since you already have learned and practiced forgiveness in the previous lesson, learn about and practice how to forgive yourself. In doing so, you are forgiven from any past mistakes and you learn how to accept and care for yourself in this lesson on self compassion. Thank you.
Hello. Today we are going to learn about self-compassion. Understanding and practice of self-compassion is important because it is very hard to cultivate great compassion for others when we treat ourselves harshly and unkindly. Self-compassion means understanding and treating oneself with kindness amidst failure or pain. Self-compassion means being less critical or judgmental of self. It accepts oneself and one experiences as part of the human race and the planet. Self-compassion helps us feel less lonely and more motivated for personal improvement.
Let's watch some examples of how negative thinking in our daily experiences can lead us to discouragement and unhappiness. In the next few scenes, we will learn how to change these negative, harmful thoughts into positive images and kinder thoughts using compassion and loving kindness towards ourselves. Let's watch. In this first example, we see Scott, a student, working out and weightlifting at the fitness center. However, when he sees Albert, who is bulked up and lifting all the heaviest weights, he judges himself as not manly enough. His self-criticism and negative judgments and comparisons have ruined his workout at the gym. He becomes unhappy with himself when he fails to make a lift in front of others, and he wants to give up. He takes a minute off to sit quietly and recognizes his negative thinking. He remembers that in this situation, he has learned to exercise compassion towards himself. He does this by using positive self-talk, thinking to himself about the progress he has made and the significant improvements in the weightlifting since he began in September. This restores his confidence that he will continue to make progress, and he is ready to return to his workout. In this scene, we have watched Scott exercise not only his body but also his mind, strengthening his compassion to self by recognizing negative comparisons and then using kinder and more positive thoughts about his bodybuilding workout. You too can strengthen your mental muscles of compassion toward yourself to reduce discouragement and increase happiness in daily life. Sage is a college student athlete. She is brilliant at her studies and skillful with her collegiate sports rowing team. She takes a break in between classes to read some fashion magazines in the student lounge. However, she begins to make negative comparisons of her body to the appearances of skinny models in the fashion magazine. She begins to judge and blame herself, such as, "My hair is not blonde enough," or "My face is not beautiful enough," "I'm not skinny enough." These self-judgments make her unhappy and dissatisfied about her looks. She becomes aware of these thoughts interrupting her day and remember to practice self-compassion in this situation. First, she relaxes into a mindful moment of meditation. She focuses on her breathing and places her hand over her heart to remember herself that she must give loving kindness to herself. When calm, she appreciates her naturally lovely dark hair and its natural curls and waves. She values her fitness and health as an athlete. She is grateful for the accomplishments in her sports and that she has many friends and teammates who love her just the way she is. Eventually, these warm and caring thoughts towards herself bring a smile back to her face and joy back into her daily life.
In the last example, we see how even a beautiful and athletic young woman can begin to have doubts or judge herself harshly with negative comparisons and to question her body image in ways that leads to unhappiness. Here we have seen how mindfulness, if only for a brief time, combined with loving kindness and gratitude for who we are, can change our perspectives and attitude towards happiness and life satisfaction. By adding this lesson of self-compassion, you too can find your inner beauty and appreciate who you really are rather than feeling disappointed because you are not someone else.
Dave is a student hoping to make an A in his psychology course. He received a low test grade from his professor today. He felt deeply disappointed and started to think he was just too dumb to make a good grade. He worried that a low test score could lower his final grade and hurt his overall GPA. Doubting his ability, he considers dropping. Later, he realizes that some of his classmates also receive low grades for this test. Rather than feeling embarrassed, isolated, self-critical, and focused on his shortcomings, he recognizes positive and negative events are experienced by all because we all are human. With empathetic concern shared with classmates and self-compassion, he can shift his focus from negative self-judgments and self-criticism to developing more positive study habits.
Sometimes, by just changing our perspectives about life and being grateful to what we already have, can save us from many painful experiences. Let's look at Mom's inspiring story.
Mom is a senior in college who works in one of her college dining halls. She has to work double shifts to earn money for her college tuition, fees, and basic living expenses. While she is busy working between and after classes, Mom notices many of her classmates come to the dining hall, not to work, but just to eat, socialize, hang out, and play games. She compares herself to many other students who do not need to work and seem wealthier. She judges herself as poor and unfortunate and feels bad about herself. When she gets tired from working and wishing that she could be like others, she takes a minute of calm to treat herself with kindness and compassion. She thinks about how fortunate she is to be the first in her family to enter college, how strong and courageous she is to be able to be a successful student while accomplishing a demanding work schedule. She smiles to remember the fun and good time of working with other students in the dining hall. She now realizes how privileged she is to be a citizen here and enjoy the freedom to study in a major university. Are you ready to do a practice assignment? In this chart, you see two examples of self-compassion versus self-judgment. You may think of three other examples of self-judgment and turn them into self-compassion today. Thank you.